Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to the attic. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from an anonymous caller. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Hello, Lloyd. I have a big problem in my family. I have been a JW since I was born for over 30 years to the point of becoming a ministerial servant. And I was a ministerial servant for many years. I got married. Funny fact, I got married. I was inactive. After I got married, I actually started taking the religion more seriously. And a bunch of stuff had happened in the past decade. I was stabbed in the back, lost my privilege as a ministerial servant just because I asked for help for the elders, because the elders were acting in a wrong manner, and I asked for their help to deal with the feelings it was creating, and they removed my privilege, saying that Jehovah revealed my my heart to them. And then after many things, many years, I had to sit and watch the meetings, and they stopped making sense, and I stopped believing. This was hard to deal, hard to accept. It's very difficult to lose your own faith. Your channel and others like you had been of great help, and I thank you dearly. I watched you almost every day. But this has taken a toll on my wife, harder than I thought it would. I cannot lie to myself nor to her. I cannot pretend to be what I am not anymore. I don't object for her to be a Jehovah's Witness. I don't object for her to teach our son. For more that might sound terrible to you, but I try to have the most peaceful family life possible. I just stopped. I'm not disfellowshipped. I didn't commit any sin. I don't want to go to the quote unquote world. I have a family. I don't drink. I don't care about all those kinds of stuff. I just want to be at home. But for my wife, that's very difficult. We don't fight. We don't argue. That's not a problem. She helped me. She's a wonderful person. I don't try to convince her to leave the religion. I help her with everything I can. It's okay. The problem is emotionally she cannot accept that, to the point that she had to start taking medication, and she's a little bit better, but she cannot handle that when she had to watch or go to the meeting alone. She just become broken. She comes home or she turns off the computer and she's sad and she cries and she's angry at me. She doesn't treat me bad, but I know she is, and I don't know what to do. I talked to her. I asked her to convince me. I said, "You believe I don't, so convince me. I'm open. I'm here. I just want to do what's best for our family." And she started to cry. She started to talk about homosexuality, things like that. That doesn't make sense. And I asked her. I told her that the calculation for 1914 doesn't make sense, and I said, "Convince me. I'm here. I'm open." And she said she's not smart enough to do that, but that's a lie. She's pretty smart. She said I had too much knowledge, and she started to cry. And I hugged her and I said, "It's okay. I'm not fighting with you. I don't want to convince you to leave. I'm opening the doors for you to convince me. If I could open my head and mess with the wires, I would make me believe again." And I said that sincerely. I understand everything you said, but I really want to have a good family life. She's everything to me, our son too. And I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I cannot handle being a PMO anymore. She knows that. But I don't know what to do. I have no choice. I'm doing my best. I'm being the best husband I can. I'm being the best father I can. I'm being the best man I can. And I know I'm doing a good job. And I'm looking for therapy too. My wife is okay with that. She's actually looking forward for me to start and the results. But it's very hard to see her suffer. I know that many couples have gone through that. Would you have any kind of advice or experience, or maybe just a I don't know, good or bad examples so I could at least not feel alone or help her with some comfort. Thank you very much for everything that you do.
Wow, thank you so much for that voicemail. It's very brave of you to share so much, and I really do sympathize with your situation. You are absolutely doing the right thing by seeking out the help of a mental health professional. That would have been my first piece of advice, so you're very wise to pursue that course. I have mixed feelings about what you've told me, and this is quite a common occurrence where one partner wakes up or realizes that this isn't the truth and the other doesn't, and it causes tension and friction within a relationship or within a marriage. Let's just be clear. I just feel there are a few red flags in the way you have expressed your situation that I find a little bit concerning. Above all, I'm concerned about when you said that if you could mess with the wiring in your head so that you could believe again, you would. Now, to a degree, I can kind of understand what you mean. There is something about being inside that kind of coma of unquestioning allegiance that is very peaceful. You don't need to think. All of your thinking is done for you. It's not quite as stressful as confronting reality. But I don't think it's a healthy thing to want to revert back to total ignorance. I think once you have seen the man behind the curtain, once you've realized that you're being lied to, that's it. And the problem is not with you, it's with the group that is lying to your partner and has been lying to you and is having a very toxic, controlling, manipulative influence on your family. That's where the problem lies. And I'm just detecting a little bit too much self-blame in your words for my personal liking. And don't get me wrong, I really appreciate that you have approached me with this message and that you are speaking honestly and openly about how you truly feel. But for example, when you talk about going to see a therapist and you say, my wife's really looking forward to getting some results from that, I think your wife is approaching this again from the point of view that there is something wrong with you. And maybe if you see a therapist, that will help snap you out of this and you'll come running back to the organization. You'll realize your folly. You'll realize that you're the one with the problem and you'll somehow remedy it and you'll be a believing, subservient member once more. That's sort of how it comes across. And I'm also concerned when you say, and you even anticipated that I would be concerned, when you said that you don't even have a problem with your child being raised as a believing Jehovah's Witness. So to be clear, this is an ideology that you know to be wrong and misleading, and yet you're happy for your child to be raised in it, only to grow up and probably go through the exact same problems that you're now experiencing, because one way or another, the problem's not going away, and the problem isn't with you. The problem is with the fact that this isn't the truth, and that there's just no escaping that. You can't just pretend it away or therapy it away. More than anything, you need to maybe build a little bit more self-love and self-esteem. I can't anticipate everything that's been said in your conversations with your wife, and I wouldn't want to make assumptions about her character, but it feels a little bit like there's a little bit of emotional coercion going on her part, a little bit of silent treatment, to the point where you're almost having to chase after her and say, please, explain to me why this should be, why this is the truth. Again, I don't want to second guess your wife's character, but again, I'm just sensing that somehow the problem just keeps being placed on your lap, or the blame is constantly being attributed to you. And I think that's wrong. I think that you need to understand that not only are you not alone in this, because many people watching this video will be able to empathize with your situation, myself included. But you also need to understand that it's not your fault. And you're a good man, and there's nothing wrong with having conscientious reasons for ending your unquestioning allegiance to an organization that is teaching lies. It would be weird if it were the other way around. It would be weird if you could just flick a switch and believe even though you don't believe. Hopefully there's something in there that has prompted a little bit of introspection. You aren't alone. You do have worth. You are deserving of being loved and appreciated for who you are, regardless of your allegiance to a religion that you were in when you got married. And don't rule anything out. Life is complicated. Relationships are extremely complicated. And just because you feel a certain way when you are in your 20s or 30s doesn't mean you're going to be feeling the same way in your 40s and 50s. We are constantly growing as people. We undergo experiences, we undergo setbacks, we undergo triumphs, and each of those moments etch themselves on our soul and change who we are, so that we are just a work in progress. And you shouldn't be blaming yourself for growing and for growing out of a cult. And I hope that if nothing else, you can find some reasons to start loving yourself and start valuing yourself for who you are, and just being open to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, your life might need to change radically in order for you to be happy again. Maybe the world isn't such a scary place, isn't the scary place that you think it is. I get that you're exhausted with being PIMO, with being physically in, mentally out, and you'd rather just have a simple, happy life. That might be how you feel now, but is it really a long-term solution? Is it a healthy solution to live a lie for the rest of your life? Maybe it is for you, but it wouldn't work for me, and it wouldn't work for many people who are watching. But again, I just want to thank you for your message. I hope this situation can resolve itself one way or another. Feel free to update me as and when it's appropriate in the future, and I would gladly revisit your story and offer any advice I can give. But that's all I have time for. Don't forget that if you would like to leave a voicemail, all you need to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to broadcast your message on this channel. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching.